Can we, can we really understand the past? Can we fully grasp the life and tragic end of Hypatia, the brilliant philosopher of ancient Alexandria? As we delve into the annals of history, we encounter a world brimming with intellectual prowess and cultural richness. Hypatia's Alexandria in the late 4th and early 5th centuries was a beacon of knowledge, a bustling cosmopolis where the brightest minds of the age gathered to exchange ideas and challenge conventions. In this vibrant backdrop, Hypatia emerged as an extraordinary figure, a woman who defied societal norms to become a leading intellectual beacon. Yet her life was shrouded in mystery, her death a tale of treachery and violence that sent shockwaves through the scholarly world. How did she navigate the tumultuous waters of her time? What led to her tragic demise? Let's journey back in time to unravel the enigma of Hypatia, a woman ahead of her era. As we peel back the layers of history, we'll discover a story of brilliance, courage, and a tragic end that still echoes through the centuries. Born to Theon, a renowned mathematician and philosopher, Hypatia was destined for intellectual greatness. Her birthplace, Alexandria, was a city that thrived on curiosity and knowledge. From the grandeur of the Library of Alexandria to the intellectual rigor of the Museum, this was a city that breathed culture and intellect. It was within these walls that Hypatia took her first steps towards becoming a philosopher. Nurtured under the watchful eyes of her father, Hypatia was exposed to the world of mathematics and philosophy from an early age. Theon, a man of wisdom and foresight, recognized his daughter's potential and guided her through the labyrinth of the intellectual world. He taught her to question, to seek, and to never be satisfied with the superficial. As she grew, so did her thirst for knowledge. Hypatia delved deep into the realms of mathematics, astronomy, and philosophy, leaving no stone unturned in her quest for understanding. Her brilliance shone brightly, illuminating the path for many who followed. She did not merely absorb knowledge, she contributed to it, challenged it, and in doing so became a leading intellectual figure of her time. Hypatia's intellectual prowess was not confined to the realms of academia. She was a beacon of wisdom in the bustling city of Alexandria, guiding students and scholars alike. Her influence extended beyond the classroom, reaching the hearts and minds of those fortunate enough to cross her path. Hypatia was more than just a teacher. She was a leader, a mentor, and a shining example of intellectual freedom. In a world dominated by men, Hypatia stood at the helm of the Neoplatonic school in Alexandria. She wore her intellect like a crown, challenging societal norms and breaking barriers. Hypatia was not just a woman of her time, she was a woman ahead of her time. In a male-dominated society, Hypatia stood out, not just as a woman, but as a thinker who dared to question and seek answers. Her life is a testament to the power of the mind and the strength of the human spirit. Hypatia's story reminds us that knowledge is a beacon, illuminating the path towards understanding and enlightenment. Hypatia was not just a philosopher, she was a mathematician, an astronomer, and a teacher. Indeed, Hypatia's intellectual prowess was as multifaceted as a perfectly cut gem. Her work in mathematics was groundbreaking. She penned commentaries on the mathematical treatises of her time, delving into the complex world of geometry and algebra. Hypatia's insightful analyses and interpretations of these works not only clarified their intricate concepts, but also advanced mathematical thought. She dared to explore uncharted territories, eagerly seeking answers to the unsolvable equations of her era. Equally significant were Hypatia's teachings on Neoplatonism, a philosophy that harmonized the spiritual and the physical. She strived to understand the cosmos and our place within it, delving into questions about the nature of the soul, the concept of the divine, and the pursuit of truth. Hypatia's lectures were as much about the inner workings of the mind and spirit as they were about the outer cosmos. But Hypatia's contributions reached beyond the realm of the intellectual. She lived in a time of religious and political turmoil. Alexandria, once the beacon of wisdom and knowledge, was on the brink of losing its luster. Yet Hypatia stood firm. She became a beacon herself, preserving and advancing knowledge when many were bent on destroying it. Her courage and conviction in the face of adversity are a testament to her unwavering dedication to truth and wisdom. Hypatia was not just an intellectual giant. She was a mentor, a guide, a beacon of light in a time of darkness. Her influence spanned across her students and contemporaries, inspiring them to question, to seek, to learn. She corresponded with the prominent scholars of her time, sharing her insights and sparking intellectual debates that transcended borders. Hypatia's work transcended her time, leaving a lasting legacy on the world of science and philosophy. Her intellectual contributions, her teachings, her courage, all these elements of her life coalesced into a legacy that continues to inspire scholars and thinkers to this day. Hypatia remains a symbol of intellectual freedom, a testament to the power of knowledge, and a shining example of the indomitable human spirit. Alexandria, once a beacon of knowledge and culture, was slowly succumbing to the rising tensions between different religious and political factions. As we delve into this era, we find a city on the brink of chaos, with Hypatia, a beacon of intellectual freedom, caught in the crossfire. In the late 4th and early 5th centuries, Alexandria was a melting pot, a diverse city where cultures, religions and philosophies intersected. But this diversity was also a source of tension. The city was divided among pagans, Christians, and Jews, each group vying for dominance. This battle was not just for religious supremacy, but political influence as well. Hypatia, a pagan and a woman of science, was a figure of respect and authority in this turbulent city. Her school was a haven for free thinkers, a place where intellectual discourse was valued above all else. But her prominence made her a target. As the city's factions grew more hostile, so did their resentment towards her and everything she represented. The year was 415 AD. It was a time when the lines between religion, politics and power were dangerously blurred. Cyril, the Christian bishop of Alexandria, was a key player in this volatile mix. His influence over the masses was significant, and he used it to fuel a wave of anti-pagan sentiment. This hostile environment set the stage for one of the most tragic events in intellectual history. Hypatia was brutally murdered by a mob of Christian zealots, a mob thought to be incited by Cyril's inflammatory rhetoric. This was not an isolated act of violence, but the culmination of a city's deep-seated tensions and a stark reminder of the dangers of intolerance. In the aftermath of Hypatia's death, Alexandria's intellectual community was left reeling. The city, once a hub of knowledge and enlightenment, had been plunged into an era of ignorance and fear. In a city torn apart by intolerance and hostility, Hypatia's life was abruptly and violently ended. This marked not just the end of an era, but the tragic loss of a great mind and a stark warning about the dangers of intolerance and fanaticism. The death of Hypatia sent shockwaves through the intellectual community of Alexandria and beyond. This woman, a beacon of knowledge and wisdom, was brutally extinguished, her life cut short in a moment of horrifying violence. But even as her physical presence was erased, her intellectual legacy lived on, casting a long shadow over the world of science and philosophy. Historians and scholars still marvel at Hypatia's life and work. She was a woman who stood tall amidst a world dominated by men, carving out a space for herself in the hallowed halls of academia. Her contributions to mathematics, astronomy and philosophy are well documented and continue to be studied. Hypatia was not just a scholar, she was a teacher, a mentor, inspiring a generation of thinkers who carried her teachings forward. But perhaps it is the circumstances of her death that have cemented her place in history. Hypatia was not just a victim of a violent mob. She was a casualty of an increasingly hostile atmosphere towards intellectualism and paganism. Her death was a symbol of the growing intolerance of her time, a chilling reminder of the dangers of dogmatism and fanaticism. In her death, Hypatia became a potent symbol of intellectual freedom. She embodied the spirit of inquiry and discovery, the relentless pursuit of knowledge. She was a woman who dared to question, to challenge, to explore, and for that, she paid the ultimate price. But in doing so, she became a martyr for the cause of knowledge, a beacon for all those who value intellectual freedom. Her legacy is not just confined to her scholarly contributions. Hypatia's story has inspired countless works of art and literature. She has become an icon, a symbol of female empowerment and intellectual independence. She has inspired a multitude of women to pursue careers in science and philosophy, fields that were once considered the exclusive domain of men. Hypatia's tale also serves as a stark warning. It reminds us of the dangers of intolerance and the destructive power of ignorance. It is a sobering reminder that the pursuit of knowledge is often fraught with danger, that the path to enlightenment is often lined with obstacles and threats. But it is a path worth taking, for it leads to a world of understanding, a world where ignorance is replaced with insight, prejudice with acceptance. Hypatia's story is a stark reminder of the enduring power of knowledge and the tragic consequences of intolerance. Her legacy, like a beacon in the night, continues to shine brightly, illuminating the path for future scholars. She symbolizes the relentless pursuit of knowledge, the courage to question, and the audacity to challenge established norms. Her legacy continues to inspire and challenge us, even after more than a millennium. Her spirit lives on in every scholar who dares to question, in every scientist who dares to discover, in every woman who dares to break boundaries. Hypatia's story is not just a tale from the past, it is a lesson for the future, a call to uphold the values of intellectual freedom, to resist intolerance, and to cherish the power of knowledge.